I thought that she was Pedro's secret wife. That's what I thought. But I thought that Pedro kind of caused this rift between Chantel's family and his own family. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Miss Criticizer 2021. I hope you all are doing well. If you're here for the very first time, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates. Now, as some of you know, I have reviewed 90 Day Fiancé in my past videos, including the controversial show, The Family of Chantel. Now, some of you might know the family of Chantel. Well, they debuted in the 90 Day Fiancé series, the original one, season 4. Chantel, single girl from Atlanta, met Pedro. They were pen pals, and they were teaching each other's language. She wanted to learn Spanish, he had to learn English. They fell in love and everything was well. She applied for the K1 visa for him. Chantel's family, they were always skeptical. You know, guy from the Dominican Republic, getting involved with their daughter. They're asking themselves, is this a scam? Is this love? What is this? Now, because their storyline was so dramatic, there was always a dramatic storyline. TLC saw cash in them and they kept extending them. So they made it to the other spin-offs like I think Happily Ever After and the other shows. And it was just so good. It continued that TLC said, you know what, we're giving you guys a spin-off show. Now fast forward to now. They've been married now for I believe like 8 years or something like that. Now they're heading for a divorce. And in the last season, we could see that their marriage was on the rocks. And eventually, it collapsed. Now, I thought that the family of Chantel would end with that season. I think it was season... How many seasons does the show have? Season 4. And now they want to milk them again for their last season. Because, again, you know, now they have to live their single life. They need closure, etc., etc., etc. If you guys want to know more about them, you know, there's a YouTube video link about their whole life, everything, because it's so dramatic. And this, I'm just going to give my opinion. I just had to fast forward through everything, but I had to give my opinion on just everybody. And this is basically unbiased from my side. You can take it as you want it. You can take it as you don't want it. That's just me. That's my opinion. We have seen the toxicity of the involvement of their families in their marriage. Now, if you would ask me, was the relationship between Chantel and Pedro genuine? Did they love each other? If you would ask me, I would say yes. They genuinely loved each other. Chantel loved Pedro. And I believe that Pedro also loves Chantel, believe it or not. They both love each other. But I will say the thing that made their marriage worse is the fact that, one, they're on a reality show, which always happens. A reality show can make or break your relationship, but most likely it will break your relationship. And second of all, the involvement of both of their families. Yes, and I will say both of their families. I will say it's not only Pedro's family, but also Chantel's family. Yeah? Now, let me first start with Chantel's family. That's the first one I'm going to start with. I have an issue with Karen, Chantel's mom. I know that Chantel's mom is looking out for her daughter. She loves her daughter. And yes, I understand that if you date or marry a man from another country, your mind will go to, is he using me for the papers? Is he using me to get to the United States? Completely understand it. Yeah? But I would need Karen to get off her superiority complex high horse. She needs to get out of it and she should just let it go. And the reason why I'm saying this is that I don't want some of you Americans to get offended, yeah? But I feel like maybe for some Americans, you guys tend to be in your own bubble and maybe you think like the rest of the world, you know, sometimes does not matter. I'm just being honest, and this is based on things that I've seen, based on my experience, you know. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when her oldest son, Royal, got married to Anjanette, it's a Filipino girl. They went to the girl's country, and they were involved in her culture, everything, you know. To me, that scene was quite cringe. It was cringe because, again, like I said, I'm not sure if this show, and this is my honest opinion, I feel like 50% of this show is scripted, believe it or not. Yes, there are some real scenes, but I feel that there are certain scenes where they exaggerated. And I did not like how she kind of spoke on, you know, the whole Anjanette's family and all that case. A bit condescending. Oh, you know what, they just want to marry into our family because they want to make it to America. And the same thing, same with the Pedro thing. Oh, Lydia is just using, oh, they're just users, they're this from the Dominican Republic, they're that from the Dominican Republic. And I'm just talking from a psychological aspect. Sometimes the way you approach things, some people will just not give a damn anymore. And I'm talking, and I'm not even defending Lydia, Pedro's mom. I'm not defending her. But like, if you keep saying that, every season we've seen this. Every season we've seen that there was a confrontation. Every single time, the same old. Chantel, her family, they'll go to Dominican Republic, and then they all end up having an argument. Is there ever a time that this family, they're together in a happy mood? There's always a confrontation, there's always a drama. And I understand it, people like drama. But Karen, like I said, there's a world outside the United States, yeah? Yes, there are some people that would marry Chantel just to use her for the papers and everything. That's true. You don't want to be taken as a fool. But sometimes you need to be careful with the way you speak. Because like I said, it can come off condescending. You know, and then if it's like that, the other people from other countries, they'll think like them. Like, I don't even give a damn about you anymore. You know, again, like that whole trip in the Philippines was just cringe. Seriously, I know they were trying to respect culture and all that. I completely understand it, but like, you make them feel like they're just because they're poor and all that. No, I know you love your daughter, but again, the interference was a lot. Now, you can give your daughter advice. I was there for the times you've given your daughter multiple advices. But at some time, you know, even insulting Pedro's family while the guy is there. How the hell do you think it will continue to be? And even the fact that they were making up stories like, oh, you know, I think it was the friend. I think this was a scene that was fake. When Chantel's friend in the Dominican Republic say that, oh, you know, they're running a scam, they're looking for American woman, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it could be true, it could be true, it could not be true, but this is just my opinion. I thought that that scene was scripted. There were many scenes that were scripted. When even Pedro was dancing and flirting with his sister's friends, those were scripted scenes. Now, Nicole. Yeah, Nicole. I never liked her. I still don't like her. I still feel the same way that I felt about her. I do not like Nicole. And I'm just going to keep it like that. When she first came onto the scene, I thought that she was Pedro's secret wife. That's what I thought. Because I'm like, damn, how the hell are you so overprotective over your older brother? Like, are you, you know, are you in love with the guy? Like what? I thought that she was his secret wife. And then they just disguised it like, oh, she's his sister. Because she was so disrespectful. And very entitled. Now, both Nicole, like, he's your older brother. He has a life of his own. And I feel because you're jealous of Chantel, you know, we can clearly see it. You had a boob job. You clearly want to look like Chantel. You had her hair extensions. You were shaming Chantel for not having real hair. But look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. And I feel like Nicole, she should just get over it. You know, your brother has a life of his own. And I understand that you, your brother, and your mother, you know, it's you guys against the world. You're a close family. You guys had your struggle for each other. But at the end of the day, you still defend each other. That's family. I get it. And then maybe you feel like them. Your brother is abandoning somebody, is abandoning us for a better family and all that. You will feel some type of way. But again, Chantel was never the enemy. How you approach Chantel and her family, hence why they actually retaliated. So the hatred, you have to get over it. Because every season, I always see Nicole bad-mouthing Chantel. And I'm like, girl, you're clearly obsessed. Let the hate go. Move on with your life. You went on Miss Dominican Republic and you graduated. So why are you bitter? Now, Lydia, we know that Pedro and Nicole, they were a product of an affair. You got involved with a married man and you got pregnant with him. You never married the man. And I'm not judging you for that. You know, I've heard of these stories many, many times. I'm not judging you. These things happen. And I understand that you're very overprotective of your kids. We saw how she was overprotective of Alejandro. She didn't want Alejandro to take advantage of Nicole. Because history was repeating itself. But my issue is that what is your problem again with the family of Chantel? I want to give the benefit of the doubt that, okay, Pedro got involved with Chantel. But then eventually, the moment they heard about, because this is a long time ago, I cannot recall everything. But the moment that they heard that Chantel's family was accusing Lydia about finding an American woman for him, trying to run a scam on him and all that. And the moment that the news got back to her, she didn't give a fuck anymore. And she said, these bloody entitled Americans really think they can come here and just do me like that. I have pride. And Lydia has pride. But like I said, there are other ways how you can talk to people. There are other ways how you can resolve it. And I felt that sometimes Lydia was too bitter to even see that.
Based on my observation from Lydia, I've noticed that you cannot give what you do not have. I can clearly see that the upbringing between Lydia's family and Karen's family is worlds apart. Now, I'm not saying if that this is a cultural difference, but we can clearly see just by the way she talks to the family of Chantel. It might be unintentional, but like I said, these two are worlds apart. What might seem abnormal to me might seem very, very normal to them because that's how they approach things. Anyway, let me carry on.
And she's like, listen, don't even be with Chantel anymore. I'm tired of that family. I'm tired of all of them. Also with the production and everything. You know, that just fueled it. Again, this is like love and hip hop. Sometimes the producers will also say things to Lydia to fuel things up. Like, oh, okay, they're just using you guys. They're just exploiting you guys to be on the show, exploiting the drama to be on the show. And hence why, again, it's not going the right way. You know, it has always gone left. They've never been able to resolve their issues. And Lydia, like I said, now you feel like, okay, I'm older, I can date now, I can get another man, but is it worth it? I'm not going to talk about her. Pedro, I need you to have a mind of your own. Yeah, I know you truly loved Chantel. I'm not going to lie. He did love Chantel. But you need to have a mind of your own. I've done a video about this. When your family has issues with Chantel, you would convey that issue to Chantel and her family. And then when Chantel and her family says things about your family, you would convey them to your family. How the hell do you think that will make your family feel? Like, I'm not even going to put all the blame on Lydia, but how the hell do you think that will make her feel? And that's what he kept doing. So I feel he does not have a mind of his own. And the fact that he could not set those boundaries, that's the reason why this issue happened. There's ways to resolve these type of things. If you ever had an issue, sit Chantel's family down, sit your family down, and come together and let's see how we can resolve the issue. Okay, the family of Chantel, they didn't mean it this way. These are things that they have had. They made you feel that way. They're willing to apologize. Same to you. If you felt like, okay, you had these issues with the family of Chantel, let's express it. Let's come together. But I felt that Pedro kind of caused this rift between Chantel's family and his own family. And so now it's just like 50-50. When Pedro found out that his mom was hiding his biological father from Pedro, I mean, it was convenient for Pedro to lean on Chantel's family for support and diss his whole family. But then now look, you're back with your own family. And at the end of the day, it seems like family will always be family. It's hard to disown your family. And I just felt like this should not have been like this. Like I said, I feel like this show is halfway scripted. You know, what we are seeing is real, but at the end of the day, again, this season is on its last leg. Nicole and Pedro, they filed for divorce. Why does she have to travel again to the Dominican Republic? Every single time she's traveling there, it's always for confrontation. And that's my advice to Chantel. Chantel, you're beautiful, you're educated, you have a career. And I felt like even though you and Pedro, you could have made it work out. But it seems like, was it that you were a bit addicted to the drama that even came with the show? Because it's like every episode we see you going to the Dominican Republic to confront somebody. To confront Pedro or his family. And you know how they are. You know how some people are in that position. In the real life, I would not put myself in that position. If I don't mess with the man's family, I'm not going to be with him. Because I just know how it is. And it's over and over again. It seems like I've seen 7 or 8 confrontations ever since this show started. 10 confrontations. It never ended. And I understand that this is both of their bread and butter. This is how they make money. This is how they make money. And still, the same thing. And you have to think about your heart. You have to think about your health, your mental health. Is it worth it to put all this, your problems on TV? I mean, yes, we've seen the good, we've seen the bad. This is what you guys have signed up for. But it is draining. And yes, about Pedro, I'm not sure if Pedro's ego got bruised because he just got to the US and he started a job from, you know, he has to start from the lower ladder. He worked in the warehouse. You know, eventually I think they managed to buy a house together. Pedro wanted to elevate himself, and that's fine. You're there to grow. He had his real estate license and he's doing very well. And I know that Chantel was happy for him, but he maybe secretly thinks that Chantel just wanted to keep him in the bottom. You know, did not want him to excel and just wanted to be his lapdog in the States because she had that type of leverage. And now that he's getting better and he's growing, now all of a sudden Chantel is jealous. And where did that information come from? Won't it come from his sister and his mom who is giving him this toxic advice? You know, that's why I said the involvement of both their families just made it worse. It really made it worse. So It's sad that Pedro had to feel that way, and hence why I said that Pedro is his own downfall, because he doesn't have a mind of his own. Now, I will say that some of the things that Pedro stressed on, because we're not in their marriage, he said that Chantel disregarded things that he wanted. She would go on holiday. She would she when she's home, she's off. Basically, she's lazy. Some things that maybe he wanted from her, he kept saying it to her. She didn't want to listen, so he emotionally checked out. And I felt that, okay, that was not a fair assessment. Yes, I get that maybe he tried to tell her many times and he was just fed up. They had issues in their relationship, but they could have worked it out. No marriage is perfect. That's the thing. If you're not ready for it, don't do it. No marriage is perfect in this world. It will have its ups, its downs. It will go through the trenches, but you don't bring third parties in your relationship. You just don't. You saw that this show wanted to exploit the oldest son, River. He was so done with his family after they used his whole storyline. They used his wedding and everything to Aunt Jeanette as a storyline. And then look at the negative press it had. He said, listen, I don't want to be involved in this. And he had every right to. It's just the fact that their storyline has been exploited for long, but at the cost of their own marriage. I'm glad that Chantel is free because, again, it was right for her mental health. I wish that she and Pedro would have just worked out. It's really sad to see them like that, because you did see that they had good moments. And they could have actually resolved their issues, but Pedro will learn the hard way. If it is true that Pedro used her just to get to the States, that's messed up. And I saw in the preview that Karen, Chantel's mother, wants to revoke that green card from him. She's like, damn, you're not going to mess with my family. And it's good that Karen, she's defending her daughter. Absolutely, I have nothing against it. But it's just with Karen, there were certain things that she did, which sometimes if you make certain comments, some people will just take the piss out of you. They're thinking like, damn, you're this superior American. This is how low you think of me. This is how you continue to make these condescending comments towards me. Ah, nah, man, to hell with you. That's just how it feels, and you keep hearing it over and over again. So hence why I'm saying that Chantel's family is not 100% perfect. There were certain things that they did that probably provoked Pedro and his side of the things. Now, how Pedro handled things too was not good, because I never saw Chantel. I mean, I've seen Chantel. Yes, she would complain to her family here and there. But the fact that Pedro is just bringing his involvement, again, these are cultural differences. Now, when it comes to dating out, long distance marriages and all that, I've seen it all. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it all. And again, before you go into marrying somebody from a different cultural background, you need to ask yourself these questions before you go into it. Because sometimes love should not cloud your judgment. Yeah, just like how some people, maybe they ended up, you've seen my previous videos where some of these Americans went to marry some of these Arab men, and then eventually they complained because of the cultural differences. You don't think of those things. When you marry into a family, the way they deal with things is not how you deal with things. Sometimes their upbringing, everybody's upbringing, is a bit more rougher than yours. They would, maybe the way they communicate, you might see it as rude, but that's not how they see it. It's normal to them. Maybe to talk to people like that. Sometimes there's not an emotional level. And that's how they grew up. And there's nothing wrong with it. Again, some parts too, it's like, again, like I said, cultural differences. Maybe they don't want the woman to do some things in some countries or in some cultures. The masculinity is still there. The patriarchy is still there. How would you feel coming into this as an American woman? These type of things. So you really have to think about this before you get into one. It's sad that Pedro and Chantel ended up like this. I have not watched the latest season. I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched it because I just got fed up. The moment I heard they divorced, I checked out. That's it. And I've always watched them from the beginning. It is sad. Hopefully they can learn from this. Hopefully they can move on. But I'm glad they don't have to be dealing with each other because it was so toxic. Every episode they were arguing. Every episode they were calling each other's family out. In front of each other. In front of each other. You had Lydia and Nicole, they were talking bad about Chantel in front of Pedro, and vice versa. Chantel's family talking bad about Pedro in front of her. And me, the way I am, I'm like, listen, I'm going to talk to my partner. I'm not going to let my family members keep bad mouthing them if there's an issue, even especially in front of them. Let it be me that have to, let me deal with the issue. Let us come together, and I'm going to explain it. That's up to me. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this video. I'm sorry that it's so long. But yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you. Bye bye.